Welcome to Cruise News with the Travel Scouts. Let's quickly roll through the latest cruise news to get you fully up to speed. I have 9 big updates for you today. Let's go ahead and kick it off with number 1. The Norwegian Escape cruise ship has been diverted more than 1,000 miles in the opposite direction from its planned path. The Norwegian Escape is currently on a 12-day round-trip Caribbean cruise out of New York City. And on this voyage, passengers book the chance to visit the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. That is a lot of saints, but that is not where the cruise ship is at. It is more than 1,700 miles off the planned course. Today, the Escape was scheduled to be docking in San Juan, Puerto Rico, but as of the current time, the vessel is off the coast of Eastport, Maine. As a bird flies, that is 1,750 miles away. And the experience is very different for passengers. Instead of the high of 88 degrees today in San Juan, the high in Eastport is a meager 63. Online reports today from passengers speak to their packing for this cruise. Their suitcases are filled with shorts and swimwear. But at port today in Maine, they have been actively purchasing sweaters and hats. So why the drastic change in itinerary? Well, it is due to hurricane season. This was a safety decision made by the cruise line to avoid powerful storms. Now, the reports that we have received reveal that most of the passengers on board have great attitudes about everything. And they completely understand and appreciate the safety decision by the cruise line. But this is a good reminder for us all that during hurricane season, which runs from June through November of each year, that it is possible that these types of major itinerary changes may be necessary. And it is also a good reminder of why travel insurance is so important. If you have non-refundable excursions and other things booked, travel insurance will help protect you from financial loss. But remember, very important that you must purchase travel insurance before a storm is officially named. Otherwise, with most policies, you won't be covered. If you're not familiar with travel insurance and you're not sure where to start, I'll put a link where you can get more information down in the video description. Next, number 2, Port Canaveral commissioners have voted to increase the daily parking rate. Effective this week, the parking at Port Canaveral is increasing from $17 to $20 per day. This is the first rate increase at the port since 2017. In comparison with the other top 2 cruise ports in Florida, Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale also has a rate of $20 per day, and at Port Miami, you're looking at around $25 per day. There's been no big announcement by the port about the increase, but we've been tracking it, and the new rate is now showing on their website. Moving on to number 3, many cruise passengers will face new requirements when entering 29 European countries. The new requirement is called the EES, or Entry-Exit System, and it will begin to go into effect on October 12th for the 29 European countries on the screen right now. This measure is part of a travel crackdown as these nations are seeking to better control their borders. For cruisers, if you're not a citizen of one of those 29 countries, here is what will happen. If you fly there or when you arrive on the ship at your first port of call that enters the Schengen area, you'll be required to use a kiosk where you will submit your passport data, you'll give your fingerprints, and it will take your photo to be added to their database. This will only be required at that first entry, and it's supposed to be good for 3 years after that. At subsequent entries, you will be quickly verified and processed through. Now, this begins to be rolled out on October 12th. It is expected that the EES will not be fully functional at all ports of entry until April of next year. But we're only a few days away from the start date, and it may be required on your next European cruise to the Schengen area. So I'm sharing with you because I want to ensure that you are aware. Anytime you are traveling, it is good to be informed, be prepared, and know what's going to happen when you arrive at various locations. Then number 4, Celebrity Cruises' new line of river ships has completely sold out their first season of sailings. The cruise line will be launching its river brand in 2027, and they will be starting with 2 ships. But the popularity of this new river cruise option is off the charts. The entire first season sold out in only 5 hours. Now, if this is something that you are interested in, do know that they plan to operate a total of 6 ships in 2028, and we should receive some information soon on when those voyages will open for booking, so stay tuned for that announcement. Okay, I have more cruise news pieces remaining, including some of the top headlines of the day, but now it is time for our fast mid-show check-in. In the last video, I asked which of a selection of cruise loyalty perks you most preferred. I received input from thousands of you, and here are the results. The largest portion, 39%, said you prefer some free drinks. 33% of you appreciate receiving priority embarkation and debarkation. Nearly 1 out of 4 of you, 24%, prefer free laundry, and another 4% prefer a perk outside of those 3. So really good input as always, and cruise lines do review these polls, so keep giving your input. It is much appreciated and it makes an impact. Here is today's question. The question for today is an important one, and it is one that I have never asked before, but it is a question that cruise passengers often ask me, and I want to turn the conversation to you to get your input. It has to do with travel insurance, and the question is, what type of travel insurance policy do you typically purchase? Is it A, an annual policy, so a policy that covers you for the entire year? Or would you say B, a trip-by-trip policy where you purchase a policy for each specific cruise? Or C, you do not purchase travel insurance? What is your typical practice? Let me know down in the comments. I will be interested to see what percentage of you take the various options, but now on with the cruise news. Number 5, will a government shutdown impact your cruise vacation? As of the time of this recording, the US government is currently shut down. Now that could change by the time I finish this broadcast, but they have happened before and shutdowns will likely happen again in the future. The question is, will they affect your cruise? The short answer is that in an ideal situation, there should be no impact to your cruise vacation. Most of the federal employees that are involved in travel processes are considered essential workers and they are not furloughed. Here we are talking about the Coast Guard, Customs, TSA security personnel, and others. So there should be no issue. However, these essential workers are asked to work without pay. Now, once the government reopens, they receive back pay for their work. But sometimes these workers resent the fact that they are asked to work without pay, and call-outs from work can be larger during these periods. So while all aspects of travel keep functioning, sometimes they are not quite as smooth. And travelers are wise if they plan a little extra time to account for potential delays such as longer lines at security. Next, number 6, I have a hurricane season update. Let's start in the Eastern Pacific. As you can see on the screen, there is a lot going on. The tropical storm should not be a factor. It is well out at sea and is expected to dissipate over the next several days. However, the weather system identified by the red X is expected to further develop and hug the coastline of Mexico as it moves to the north. So this storm will likely cause some adjustments to cruise ship itineraries along the west coast of Mexico as we get through the weekend and into next week. Now let's shift over and look at what's going on in the Atlantic. The storm system identified by the yellow will likely just produce heavy rainfall across the Bahamas and Florida in the coming days. Over the weekend, we will want to watch the weather system identified in orange. It has a 40% chance of cyclone formation in the next week, and with its current trajectory, it is moving toward the Eastern Caribbean. We will continue to monitor. Stay tuned for updates. Then number 7, Norwegian Cruise Line has canceled more than 4 dozen sailings that were scheduled for late 2026 and into 2027. These cancellations will impact the 4 cruise ships shown on the screen right now. The largest portion of these involve the Norwegian Gem and the Norwegian Dawn. The cruise line has decided that they will swap home ports, so all of the originally planned sailings have been canceled. With the new schedule, the Norwegian Gem will move to Tampa, Florida in late 2026, and the Norwegian Dawn will be moving to Jacksonville. The cancellations for the Norwegian Getaway and Joy were much smaller in nature, and the cruise line has stated that they had to be canceled due to port availability. I have additional important news to share with you, but very quickly, if you're new here, I'm Jason with the Travel Scouts. Our aim in each video is to put together the latest cruise news and deliver it to you in such a way that you're fully up to speed and it doesn't waste your time. So if you'll be cruising, definitely consider subscribing. Let's continue with the cruise news. Number 8, Royal Caribbean has revealed the transports that will deliver passengers to their first ever Royal Beach Club. Royal Caribbean's first beach club will open in the Bahamas at Nassau in December of this year. This will be on the strip of land adjacent to where the cruise ships dock. Now, in order to get there, it will require transport boats to shuttle cruisers back and forth. And Royal Caribbean has now revealed those transports. They will consist of 5 tropical ferries. Each will be a different color. The 5 colors are blue, green, pink, turquoise, and orange. So they should be very easy to spot. Next, number 9, Carnival Corporation has provided a business update with insights that may give cruise passengers clues regarding what may happen with cruise pricing over the next year. Carnival Corporation is the parent organization for 8 of the leading cruise lines in the world. And in the last several days, they have reported that their third quarter of this year has yielded a record $8.2 billion in revenue and a record net income of $1.9 billion. So Carnival Corporation is doing well on the income side, which is great because they still have $26.5 billion in debt to pay off. But perhaps the biggest takeaway for cruise passengers is in regards to the company's booking status. Carnival shared that right now, nearly half of their capacity for next year is already booked, so that is significant. But key to know is that they are really at about the exact same place that they were at this same time last year. So from a supply and demand standpoint, it seems that things have finally leveled out a bit. Additionally, it has been revealed that over the next year, new and larger cruise ships will be entering the market at a much faster pace than older cruise ships will be retired from the market. So this means that the supply of space on cruise ships will be growing, and if the demand for cruise bookings does not grow at the same pace, we may actually begin to see more cruise deals being offered. Okay, I want to say a special thank you to our newest channel members, and for everyone, you are up to date. If you want to stay up to date and be ready for your next cruise, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.